didn't know for sure exactly how it was going to end. The decision really was made today and not before. So, no, I didn't go there thinking this would be the end.
Did he know going down there what coaches he would have to get rid of?
We had discussions about, like I said, pretty much everybody. So I would think he had a pretty good idea.
Was he agreeable to those?
We went through all these guys, and there was probably some we agreed on, some we didn't.
Is anybody on the staff? What's the staff been told?
The staff has not been told anything. I expect to meet with them first of next week.
Do you expect to keep them in place for a new head coach to consider?
It's still early. That would be great, but we'll just kind of see. Like I said, I'll meet with them early next week.
You said you and Mike couldn't agree on things going forward. How do you rate the job he did over the last 3 years?
I think Mike was in a fairly difficult situation in my mind. I think he was really a bridge between having a long tenured coach that had just left, and things had been done a certain way, and then an older owner who during his tenure passed away. I think we've been in a pretty major transition, and he was part of that, and he's made the place better for a minute.
Was an extension for him ever part of the conversation, and the fact that he would have been false or winning coach, is that ever a part of?
I wouldn't comment on that.
Rustin, would it be accurate to say when you all left yesterday, you were all in agreement as to what changes, and then he changed his mind and said, I can't do this?
No, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. I think everybody had to kind of go their separate ways and think it through. And so, no, there was nothing like that.
What are the attributes you're looking for in his replacement?
Well, I'd like somebody that I can work with, similar to the way I could work with Mike. I think it's important to me that person has a system that he believes in, and that we can draft and sign players to that system. I think we need. That's very important. If we're not on the same page with what we're looking for the job description, then that makes it difficult. I'd like somebody that's going to work with our current players and continue to develop them and turn them into the best players they can be.
First and foremost, I would just like to thank Mike Munchak for his tenure with the Titans. 32 years, if I'm not mistaken, as a Hall of Fame player, then an offensive line coach and positions coach, and 3 years as a head coach. Things didn't go the way that many Titans fans wanted them to. I still think that he was still building, Jeff Fisher leaves. He had a very long and successful tenure in Nashville, and he was expected to carry that on, after some rough seasons. And then you have Bud Adams pass away, and, I just think that he had it tough here, but I'd like to thank him for his effort and whatever job he goes to, whether he retires, whatever he does go to. After leaving the Titans, he'll always be a Oiler and Titan for life. So, just thank you, Munchak, for all these years you've spent with the franchise. Here's my deal with the whole thing. CEO Tommy Smith and the president, whatever you want to call him, Bud Adams' son-in-law. I really don't have a problem with him. I just feel like Munchak deserved one more year, and I'm sure he knows more than I do, Tommy Smith. But where do we go after this? Who is the next coach that we go after? That's what I want to know. I mean, do we have a plan? Do we have any idea? Because you should have a general idea before you go off and fire a guy who's been in the franchise longer than you've been around things and has sacrificed more for the franchise than you have. So, for Tommy Smith. Like I said, he's Bud Adams' son-in-law and the president and the CEO, and taken over since Bud Adams' passing, which I'm sure he's the right man for the job. I'm just wondering, you've got to have a few coaches in mind before you go off and fire a man who's been with the franchise as a player and a coach for 32 years. So I'm just really hoping you have a few guys in mind so we can keep building and get out of the rut and get out of the hole that we're already in. So that's all I got to say. Thank you, Munchak, for the sacrifices you've made for this franchise for over 3 decades. Go Titans.
Was a good head coach, and that he did a lot of things. And when you think about that, you think about the role of head coach. A lot of times it's more than football, and it's running the shop, it's managing the players, it's taking care of all the different things that go with the job. And there was thought too that there was a lot of potential in him to go even further, and so they certainly, after back-to-back losing seasons, while they had confidence in him, they clearly wanted to make changes around him. And in the end, he just was not comfortable with the changes that they want to make. And I'm sure at some point we'll know all of the specifics. I've heard a lot of the speculation, but we'll find out what that is and what his specific rationale was in doing it. But it comes to a point that when you don't have the same vision, you have to part ways, and that's not an easy thing to do, particularly when there's not personal acrimony involved. And there really isn't. I mean, Rustin Webster and Mike Munchak got along and worked together very well. And, that's what everybody always says at these moments. But I don't think in the coming days and weeks you're going to find out anything different about that.
It's tough because, Mike, he is such a good guy, man, and a respected guy. And a guy that has spent his entire professional career with this organization.
He's a gentleman. He represents you well. He does things the right way. He handles people the right way. I'm talking about coworkers, people in the building, understanding. And when I say the job of the head coach is more than just coaching the football team, you see this in different places with a lot of the head coaches that you're seeing now. You realize that it's more than just what happens on Friday night or Saturday or Sunday. It's a complete job. Being the football coach is just part of the equation. And Mike had so many things that worked for him the right way in that role that it makes it very difficult to see this end in this way for a lot of people, not the least of which the long-term relationship and also the fact that he is a gentleman and was a gentleman at every single moment that I ever dealt with him, whether he was an assistant coach or a head coach. And the tough thing for people in this building will just not be having the chance to see him each day.